Champaign owners to demolish. I'm sorry. Let me slow down. Sorry. Assistance through this program will provide demolish unsafe structures such as garbage sheds, fences, and other properties. Assistance is provided in the form of forgivable deferred loans or grants, depending on the amount of assistance. So those, and then this one right here, the last one is what I really want to hone in on. This is the Resident Exterior Rehabilitation Program. The Resident Exterior Rehabilitation Program provides a 50-50 match grant or loan of 0% interest, depending on the income, to repair and beautify exterior areas in Champaign homes. Eligibility activities include windows, siding, roof, as well as driveways, walkways, and fences. I'm bringing this up because as it relates to infrastructure in District 1, sometimes we have spaces where we have abandoned homes or if an individual may need some type of rehabilitation to their house. This program is specifically targeted to District 1. We have, within that district, we have, I'm looking at Douglas Park, Grizzly Park, Garwood, Garden Park, and Garden Hills. That's most of District 1. This eligibility for homeowners with the income up to 120% of the median income, family income. Like I said, I just want to break these things up. These are programs that the city offers that those who are in District 1 can definitely benefit from. Next, I'm going to leave the floor, pass the floor to Chief Tyler, who's going to give a safety report on District 1.
Hello everyone, my name is Tim Tyler and I have the privilege to being a police chief in Champaign, Illinois. I always say for the record, this is the best city in the United States. So I just give an honor to Pastor Wright for allowing me to be in this building today, and thank you so much, and give an honor to my God, Lord Jesus Christ. So that's how I stand. So District 1 is a very, very busy district for the Champaign Police. I want to start out by giving you a big picture of CPD. We're 127 police officers and we have 35 civilians. When I first got here, we had 32 vacancies in the police force, and we had 12 vacancies in the civilian workforce with some of the council bills that Councilmember Williams has been pushing. Your police department is only 8 short and 5 civilians short. So if you're giving him a round of applause for the policies that he's been pushing for that. So District 1, Council District 1 area is 7.14 square miles, which is about 30% of the entire city of Champaign. As the council member mentioned, it contains large neighborhoods like Garden Hills and Bristol Place, major apartment complexes like Westgate, Providence at Sycamore, and Hunters Pond, and a lot of shopping at Carmen's in the Marketplace Mall, the North Prospect Shopping District, and industrial spaces along the Interstate Drive and Market Street. It also sits between Interstate 57 and I-74. We're proud, even our police department is housed in District 1. So the Champaign Police Department, we love District 1. In 2024, your Champaign Police responded to 43,752 calls for service across the entire city. And that's every call, 911 and non-emergencies. Of those calls, of the 43,752, 20,361, 46.5%, were from District 1. It's the busiest district that we have. With those calls, we were sent to 850 alarm checks at homes and residents. We also took the community caretaker role. We did 805 check warfares, 310 standby requests, and 306 calls related to loss of found property. And we also had 448 calls with the fire department that we had to assist with. Last year, the Champaign Police Department responded to 88 calls for service involving gun violence in Champaign. 41 of those 88 calls for service happened in District 1. Please note that we refuse to normalize gunfire. So unlike other police departments, anytime someone calls us and there's evidence of a gunfire, we record that as gunfire. In those calls, unfortunately, 11 people were injured and 2 were tragically killed in 2024. Additionally, the 1 homicide in Champaign in 2025 was in District 1 as well. In response to those events, Champaign police have put a heavy focus on taking unlawful possessed weapons. Last year, we seized or recovered 193 illegal firearms in the city of Champaign in 2024. In District 1, CPD responded to more than 1,000 calls related to domestic incidents. These calls required the nuances of determining whether someone has committed an unlawful act or you just have 2 family members that are in an argument. So we serve them both. But we cannot do our job without the great work with city partners like Equity and Engagement and Neighborhood Service Department, but also some of our other partners that we work with is Courage Connection and DRI and a local media service, and we give them time to cool off. And we're seeing that those type of avenues are also working too. One of the things that District 1 is also seeing is the increased awareness of our unhoused community population. And so District 1 is in the center of that. We're dealing with a lot of calls for aggressive panhandling, and that's also coming from District 1. Not just police service. My most important part while I'm doing my tenure of police as police chief is going to be community service. This is my most important job, is getting out to community members and letting you see my face, giving you my phone number, give me a call, especially if you have any ribs or macaroni and cheese, all those. So I'm always available. But last year, I'm very proud, we increased our community hours to over 1,200 community hours going to different community events. If you have an event, your Champaign police will be there. Just give me a call. So that's pretty much it. I just wanted to give those numbers to let you know how busy District 1 is, and it's really working well. The relationship with council members, Williams, the state's attorney, other leaders in the room like Sean Williams, we're all working together. There's only one Champaign, so there's only one community, and that's how we look at it. And are there any questions or comments of me? Thank you all for this amazing opportunity to serve as police chief. I don't take it lightly, and I thank God for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Before I go on to the next, I want to make sure I introduce some local officials that we have in the building. If you're a local official, could you please stand and raise your hand? I'll introduce you. We have Chris Evans from Urbana, he's the alderman there. We have Brett Pugh, who is over a county board. We also have Will Cowles, who is our deputy mayor. There's one in the back, and we have State's Attorney Julie Reeves here with us as well. Did I miss anybody? Make sure I didn't miss anybody. All right. Thank you, Chief, once again. All right, next I'm going to have Jorge from Equity and Engagement. He's going to talk about the Blueprint Gun Violence Prevention Program, and also with emphasis on the Street Outreach Initiative. Give him a hand as he's coming.
Good evening, everyone. So I'm just here from the Equity and Engagement Department. My name is Jorge O'Rear. I run the Community Safety and Justice Division within that department. I want to talk to you a little bit about community safety and justice and how it applies, especially right after, Chief Tyler, that how we work in collaboration with the Champaign Police Department in responding to gun violence. Just for everyone's knowledge, let me give you a little bit of background about the Community Gun Violence Reduction Blueprint. The blueprint was approved by City Council back in 2021 of December, and it went into effect about March of 2022. Since that time, we've collaborated with organizations throughout the city, private, other governments, nonprofits, to provide a holistic response to community safety and justice. Within that, specifically to incidents of gun violence. So one of the things that I'd like to say is, like Chief said, that in District 1 there was 41 incidents of gun violence. So each one of those incidents, the Community Safety and Justice Division team, along with the Community Gun Violence Reduction Blueprint and its Blueprint partners, responded to those incidents by providing canvassing, knocking on doors, seeing if anybody was directly or indirectly impacted by gun violence, providing resources, providing trauma, providing repairs to homes, things of that nature. So anything that might come from a situation of gun violence, the Community Safety and Justice Division team responds to that in collaboration with Champaign Police Department. So I just wanted to give that kind of connection, because we work very closely. We have 2 individuals within that department that are called Justice Victims Advocates, and they work directly hand in hand with Champaign Police Department. They're even housed over there 2 days out of the week so that they can build those relationships and kind of approach gun violence from a holistic perspective, not just from a criminal perspective, but from a perspective of support and interventions for the community. So I just wanted to make that connection for everyone with the blueprint. So the blueprint, what the blueprint does is bring in organizations that have been in the neighborhoods, have been in the community for a long time, and working with those individuals to provide support to individuals in the community. And when we talk about gun violence, we don't just talk about those 41 incidents that may have happened. We talk about the root causes of those incidents. So we talk about poverty, we talk about schools, we talk about social services, inequities, all those things that impact violence long-term and historically. So we have programs within our community to support those root causes and address those root causes. So just recently we were in front of council and we got approved again to continue the Community Gun Violence Reduction Blueprint going into the 3rd year. So we've been doing this for 3 years, providing support to the community and working collaboratively with organizations throughout the Champaign area. So that's kind of the Community Gun Violence Reduction Blueprint. I mean, it's a little more thorough than that, but I just wanted to give everybody a recap. One of the things that they wanted me to speak about today was the street outreach piece of it. Just recently we got approved for a street outreach program. And when people hear street outreach and they hear gun violence, they always just think about violence interrupters, right? But the outreach program, the street outreach program, is much more than just violence interrupters. It's education, it's support, it's health services, it's providing support to individuals who may need those supports during times of crisis. So the outreach program itself hasn't been fully implemented at this point in time. We work with Blueprint partners and they do some of that outreach. But when we talk about the street outreach program, we're looking for a component to only focus on the street outreach piece. And it's in the preliminary stages. We haven't even done a request for proposal for that. So we're kind of building that out right now and seeing down the road, how that's going to look within the community. But in essence, just the Community Gun Violence Reduction Blueprint, the Community Safety and Justice Division, and the Equity and Engagement Team are here to support District 1 in whatever way is necessary as it involves community safety and justice. So at this point, I will also take any questions that you may have, from the Community Safety and Justice Division, Equity and Engagement Team. I will also be around if afterwards you have some questions and you want to ask me individually. I have cards. If anybody that needs services or has any questions, I will provide that information as well. So, thank you again.
Oh, Mr. Jorge, could you elaborate? Is the city still doing those neighborhood groups that you were doing? I think I went to a meeting before, and I wanted to kind of enlighten some of the people that are here about the neighborhood groups and the grants that might come with that as well.
Absolutely. So what we do is we have several different meetings that we do, right? In response to violence, we have community gun violence meetings, depending on the situation. We've had them here, absolutely, in District 1. We've had them at Douglas. We've had them at Booker T. We've had them throughout the city. We have those there. We also have meetings where I invite people in when we put out what we call an RFP, a request for proposal, to help individuals, organizations that are smaller, get through the barriers of applying for grants and how to implement grants, and we carry them through that process. We also provide financial direction with our financial grants manager through that. So we have different meetings, and then we meet with the neighborhoods as well. We go into the neighborhoods and provide information on the resources that we may have available to certain communities. So we target different communities. Along with the neighborhood services department, we go along and provide that information. So we call them resource fairs, right? And we go around to different neighborhoods and do that. That answers your question.
Yep, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you.
Hey, go ahead. I would like to say the blueprint is something near and dear to me. That's something I was able to, when I first got on council, to put my thumbprint on and give ideas to that as relates to using research from ONS, which is out of Richmond, California. They have that same program there, so I was able to bring that and get this going here for the city of Champaign. Now we're at our moment for community concerns and solutions. So we have about 30 minutes to this, however long it takes, about 30 minutes, I believe. Each participant will have will have 2 minutes to speak, make their comments or remarks. All right. Anybody?
Go ahead. I just want to give some ground rules again, people who just came in. These are questions or concerns that you might have about District 1, right? We want to keep this at a positive note. We want to talk about, we heard from Chief some of the positive information in terms of District 1 and how we are moving forward, how we're going up. We want to continue this. We want to ask questions or make comments or suggestions that might help uplift the community. Things that we are maybe not seeing in our community that we would like to see. Brother Jorge was talking about that neighborhood organization group that he has, where we could mobilize within our own neighborhoods, right? I think when we were talking before, I think it was John Ruffin, we were talking about trying to make this area here one neighborhood, and then you can make the neighborhood over, Martin Luther King subdivision, a neighborhood, and so we could have different things like a neighborhood watch, community things, so we could be able to help one another when stuff like what happened in Urbana happens. We're able to come together as a group and talk about it. So those are the suggestions that we're looking for. I just want to guide those, because if we start talking about other things that's going to take us down rabbit holes, these brothers here, Reverend Thomas and myself, we're going to try to get us out of Alice in Wonderland if we go down that rabbit hole, okay? All right, so if we have any questions or comments that you would like to make, or you like to see Councilman Davion or any of our other city officials talk, please come on up. Welcome, come to the mic. Things that you may want, come on up to the mic. Let's talk about these things, because D1 is not only a district, but I believe that we're a family, and I want to bring that opportunity. So come on forward. Anybody, jump up like popcorn. Pop, pop, pop.
I'll do something.
Okay, come on.
This is kind of close to me because I didn't know this was going to happen until like about a week ago. But next time, if it's okay with you, I'll introduce myself, Samantha Conker, the sheriff, people from RPC, and all the programs these people have available to them. So we get everything here, if that's okay with everybody else possibly, and you, sir.
Absolutely.
Make a big thing out of it.
Absolutely.
All right.
Great. Since you're county board member, could you speak a little bit about the SLEEP program that some people may not know about?
I would absolutely have Samantha Conker talk about that more.
Okay.
She's more invested in that. I think she'd be a better advocate for it. I'm sorry.
All right, thank you.
She actually literally deals with that personally.
Gotcha. Thank you. Anyone else? Any of the pastors that are here want to recognize Apostle Smith and Pastor Angel Johnson Bishop Holmes and Elder now, Ken, I want to just acknowledge those that are here too in terms of clergy. So feel free to come on up. Go ahead.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, I'm Pastor Angel Johnson, Divine Invitation to Abundant Life Ministries. Tonight I'm here according to the community. They all wanted me to be here tonight, and I thank you, Pastor, for inviting us.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a start. I don't know how many times you guys have, did this, but now we're happy to be a part of it. So, on behalf of Dr. Underwood, who's in Culver Drive, she likes to ask the question. She couldn't be here tonight. She likes to ask the question of, is that area District 1?
Carver Park.
Carver, yeah.
Park.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so they in Carver 1. That means they're District 1.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then 2, where will she find this information? Will it be on the website after tonight?
Yes, it'll be on.
This meeting?
This meeting will be on Pastor Wright's page, but I can just send it out, share it on my page so she can be able to see it, and I can send her a message personally.
You sent them, okay, awesome. Okay, and so, Angel Youth Center, we're Angel Youth Center, Beat the Streets, and we always working with the families and the youth in the community, and they would like to know if there's funding for this year, being that they're saying that the grants for the youth programs will be cut out. Will there be funding for Champaign County for District 1, because we're in District 1? Would it be funds available for this year for us to help our youth?
So
Continue our programs.
will there be funds available through the county that will be disseminated to the city of Champaign?
Yes.
That's the question you answered.
Yes.
I believe so. Rick, could you?
I know we have funds from the juvenile part we put apart, separate every year. I don't know exactly what those go to. And I'm on the opioid settlement task force now. It's got 2 there. So I'm gonna settle out what the money's going to too. And I'll give you my card at the end. We'll see if it's possible or not, okay?
Okay, awesome. And also, we all put a strategy together, like, what if, and this is just a question, this is supposed to, all of us in community, I'm talking about Champaign and Urbana. Unfortunately, we have our daycare in Urbana, and we have our youth center in Champaign, okay? How can we start I know you might have already a watch committee. How can we start a committee together using the youth leaders to help the youth stay off the street, and we have a solution? What if we, as all youth leaders, or you deal with the youth in school, youth centers, churches, pastors, teachers, whatever, is it possible we could start a watch if we see a child on the street? How can we implement that as walking up to the child, asking them where they're going at night, and try to get them to their destiny? Can you start that? Is it legal? How do we go about that? Is it possible that we can approach other people's children? I'm one leader in the community, and sometimes we're out riding around, and we have to, ask the child, where are you going? Why are you out here tonight? We have stopped 8-year-olds, 11 years old, 15 years old, and they be with their cousins or something, right?
I
So if you, I'm sorry.
think that question might be directed probably for Chief and maybe our state's attorneys here, and she may be able to give us some legal advice off the books for that question.
Okay.
So,
We don't want to get in trouble.
Chief Tyler and
No.
Ms. Reitz, if you want to answer that question, that might be.
Do you want me to answer that from here or for the video? I don't.
If you'd like to come up, or if you want to come, however you want to do, because they're looking at you now, so.
I'll put you on the spot. I'm sorry, Julie.
No, that's all right. A couple things I was thinking. The first question you were asking was about funding for
Yes.
youth programs. And I'm wondering if your concern is about all the talk that we're hearing about federal funds being cut.
Yes, because,
Yeah,
yes.
so there is a lot of discussion about that with the change in administration in Washington.
Okay,
And that is something that is affecting a lot of agencies across the board, local agencies, state agencies. We're trying to figure out what's gonna happen. So there are, though, a lot of local funds available for local youth programs like you're talking about. And the blueprint is a funding source. There are funds available through the blueprint. I mean, that's basically what it is a funding opportunity. And I think you can talk later about how to make that happen.
okay.
Urbana also has neighborhood development funds, the county has funds, the mental health board has funds.
Oh,
So there are a lot of local funding opportunities, and we should stick to those instead of trying to rely on federal funding
Yes.
that is right now very unclear and unsecure.
yes.
So, so that's the first thing that came to mind. Now, you were asking about, can we, if we see a young person on the street by themselves,
Yes.
you know, okay, so it is an offense to lure a minor into a car
That's right. That's
for
right.
inappropriate purposes. That's
Oh.
not what you're talking about.
No,
right?
no, I'm not talking about, I'm talking about picking them
Yeah,
up,
right.
getting them to safety.
So that, I think, you know, is part of the conversation, right? About,
Yes.
you know, how much do you put yourself out there as an individual human being in this
Yes.
world
Yes.
and not put yourself in a dangerous
Yes.
situation
Yes, that's
at
what
the
I'm
same
saying.
time, you know? So I don't want to encourage you or anyone to put themselves in a dangerous situation, but at the same time, if you see some little kid out and about by themselves, you know, that's what we need to do as human beings to help each other.
Yes.
And to let those little kids know that there are people watching out for them, who care about them. You know, I think that's the whole reason why we're here, right? So I appreciate that people are, I don't want anyone to be concerned about something I'm gonna do if you're
Yes.
trying to do good,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
from my perspective, if you are willing to, you know, roll down your window and say, hey kid, what are you doing here?
Yes.
As long as you feel safe about doing it,
Okay,
you know, but that's a bigger picture conversation.
okay, because see, it's getting cold, right? Well, it's cold already now, but just say for instance, when it started getting cold, we seen some children out. If I wasn't leaving my youth center, you know, no telling what would have happened to the little babies, it was cold.
Right.
It wasn't
we see a
snow on
lot
the
of
ground.
that. You know, we see kids who are
Yeah.
out and about, they're not supervised, they, you know, there might be something going on at home that, you know, they might need help from you, and you reaching out to them is absolutely the right thing to do as human beings.
All right, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna let Rev Thomas be the-
Thank you for that, thank you for that,
Thank
Pastor
you,
Angel.
thank you, I'll get with you.
Also,
I'll come and see you.
please, as relates to those funding, where can we see those things that, I guess, applications or to apply for those type of things?
For funds from the county?
Yes.
Well, so the mental health board has funds that they're in the middle of their funding cycle right now, though. I mean, there's certain timeframes for things. I don't know about the blueprint funds. The other thing that I think I would encourage people to get involved in is the community coalition meetings. We just had a meeting on Wednesday. Tracy Parsons puts those meetings together. That is a great opportunity to come and hear from all kinds of different organizations across Champaign County who are very involved and to collaborate and to share information about what you're doing and what your organization is doing, and learn and work together with all the other groups so that we're not, in silos, but we're all working together. So I would definitely steer you towards Tracy Parsons to get involved with the coalition.
Okay, thank you.
And as far as the blueprint, everybody, you should go onto the city website, and if you go to the city website and you hit the search box on the top, and if you put in request for proposal or RFP, it will take you to all the grants that the city is putting out currently, and you can see it has, the application and everything right on there. So at different times we'll post, those grants there, but we also send out information. So whenever I put out a grant, I send it to everybody that I know, so that you guys know that you apply. But you could do the same with the county and the mental health board. They all have a website, and they all put their information right on their website. So.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yes, I believe Pastor Bishop Holmes had a question.
Can we say this also, that I think we have to be careful with that, is that some grown-ups that mean no good, that will speak something to these children. I'm wondering about that. Our child knows that is a person that is really concerned about them and not trying to snatch them.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think with with that comment, that's why we're here, right? Us organizing and talking about these things before we just implement them, right? We have partners in the state's attorney's office. Chief Tyler, the chief of the police, is here, right, to talk to us, to help us to get these things in order. This is not the first meeting. Councilman Williams have decided to have several of these, right, so that we might be able to draw more and more people. And Pastor Thomas and both myself has dedicated the space, so we don't have to rent any space. We have this space that we could use, either my place or his place, in terms of the churches that we may be, and I'm sure Bishop Holmes and Pastor Smith wouldn't mind to have these meetings at their churches, to invite more people who would feel more comfortable in these spaces. So again, being able to organize these type of neighborhood groups, I think that'd be awesome, but we just have to make sure we have ground rules and rules of engagement, so to speak, right? Brother Sean and then Pastor here is going to make a comment, I think, because Brother Sean wanted to make a comment on this.
Yeah, so my comment is piggybacking off what you talked about, man. So times have changed, right? I was a 12-year-old kid, stayed down the street right here, and this was the first church house that I ever met, right? I was in the choir here, I did a lot of different activities. Bishop Wright, he introduced me to a lot of different things that I utilize to even to this day, right? We don't have it anymore, where kids are engaged into a church, and that's gonna keep them involved, take them to trips, take them out of town, introduce them to life, right? And correct them when they're wrong, right? So, it's a liability issue for just coming up to talk to anybody's kid, or put anybody in your car, like the insurance do. Putting somebody in your car could be a liability issue on you, right? And so that might not be the best scenario. Call the law enforcement to get them involved, and this is really where I want to go. We've seen a lot of stuff happen across the city, and I've sat back, I haven't commented, I just read a bunch of posts on Facebook and a bunch of different things, and we talk about where the city leaders are, right? City leaders can't do anything if you're not responsible for your kids at night at 10 o'clock at night. What is an 8-year-old doing out at 10 o'clock at night to pass Angel Johnson, that's Austin, right? So those are things that as a community, we gotta solve. We gotta say, hey, look, either I need help, trying to help raise my kids, because I have multiple kids, I need some help to try to raise them, or this is just too overwhelming for me, or somebody just slipped out the door, and I need help to find my kid, right? But I think as a community, it's nothing that our council member can do for us, or our city leaders can do for us, if if we don't do for ourselves. And so that's more of my comment, that I think that it's things that we have to do as a community to solve those type of issues. Now, there's other different problems that I have. I dealt with some kids earlier today, and so I got a school issue. Because when we have kids that can't even, as in 11th or 12th grade, they can't even write their name properly, then they're gonna get state's attorney issue. Because now I don't comprehend what's going on in this world. I don't understand, I don't feel adequate. So now I have to act out in other ways. And so that eventually ends up into a state's attorney's problem, right? And that's just the bottom line. So we gotta be honest with all of the stuff that's going on. And so, thank you for having the meeting, Pastor. I appreciate it. All right, on time.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Yes. I mean, you can.
Okay, I can't stand too long, had a few strokes, but I'm here because I care about my community.
That's right.
I wanted to share something with Mr. Tyler first. I watched Mr. Tyler and the Champaign Police. I'm always looking at your numbers, and you're doing an exceptional job. I'm proud of you, man. And I have 32 less felonies than our president. So I want to share that with you guys. So that's a proud moment. So I have 32 less. And I was an adversary of Julia Reach one time, about 20 years ago. But I want to say that Ms. Reach, you do a wonderful job, and you can't blame someone for doing their job. In this community, we got to do our job. As people, we got to do our job. The guns that are in the streets, guess who can help get the guns off the street? The people who may have been in trouble before. They can help get the guns off the street. So diversity really help in our thinking. When we're putting groups together, diversity will help. The county board member just stood up. They helped me with housing for a year. I used to have so much money, I didn't know what to do with it. But I needed that housing for a year to help me. So there's a whole lot of things in the room, but if people don't know about them, they can't use them. That person that just came out of jail, a lot of these programs that we're talking about, it can really help them, and you can be a viable asset to your community if you get a second chance. And I just wanted to share that with you guys. I want us to think broadly. One of those guys over at the homeless shelter, if you get a chance to talk to these guys and see exactly why they're there. Many of them have a car over there. They work. They don't have enough money to afford housing. So those are the things that I'd like for us to think about. We got some wonderful programs with helping get the roof fixed and your windows fixed. But if you can't afford the rent, you know, all the other things don't matter. We need some programs to help people get into housing.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay? And to lower low-cost housing, lower than what it is.
Yes.
One of those, before he extends, one of those programs he did allude to when he first started speaking, the renters program for the township.
Yes.
City township. He did mention that, but those points that you're making, that's why we're here,
Yes,
right?
Yes,
And I specifically, personally text the pastors. How many churches you said we had in here?
15 churches.
We had 15 churches. I text every pastor that I could in the district to make sure that they were here. Why? Because they have that leadership ability to be able to disseminate this information. Why? Because you have people in your congregations that need this help. I'm a new pastor here. I've been the pastor, I say new, but I've been the pastor. This will be my 8th year in June. And so when I initially got on, I didn't know where to go for some of these different resources. So what I did was I reached out to some of the more senior pastors, the more seasoned ones. I looked at the county, I looked at the city, and I was trying to find out where to get this information. I talked to my brother all the time back there in the back, Brother Kyles, Councilman Kyles, and he led me to these different projects. He's getting tired of me calling, I believe, to help some of these people. But this is why Brother Williams is here now. Right? To help give this information, and get information from you so that we can work together as one unit, right? D1, go ahead, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to jump in again. Sorry.
Yes.
Good evening, everybody. It's unfortunate I came late. Okay, so most of the things, some of the things you said, I wasn't here when you said it. But the
Talk a little
question,
bit longer.
See if I get that mic.
but the question I'm going to ask, how is the community handling homicide and theft? Yeah, like I said, when you started, I wasn't here. So some of the things you said, I do know about it. But the question I'm going to ask, how is the community handling homicide and theft?
Homicide.
Yes.
How does the community handle homicide and theft?
Yes. I'm asking about theft, fortunately, because not long ago, my check was stolen. And two of my roommates have reported that they lost something. So I'm concerned about that theft in the whole community and homicide too. So how are you addressing both?
Well, I'll let Chief speak on that for a little bit. But like we said before, I think you said you may have missed it. We're putting together. We have the blueprint, which is against gun as it relates to gun violence, and so we have programs that we are helping programs that we are working with to help remedy those situations. But Chief can speak more on the, what they do on CPD side.
Yeah, so any crime reported, please give us a call. And CPD, we have our own crime scene units, so we'll come out with fingerprint. We will do interviews. We have a detective division that work property crimes, which is what you was talking about with theft. But with homicides, when I got here, we had 17 that one year. We went to 9 the following year when I got here in 2022. And then we went to 5, and last year we had 6. So when we have a homicide, that is a big case. It's a felony. So we work very closely with the state's attorney to make sure all the elements of the crime fit. We had a stabbing not too long ago in December. We ended up, doing our investigation. The coroner ended up doing their forensics investigation. Once we got that information back, we brought it to the state's attorney, and then the state's attorney approved charges for homicide and things like that. But I can guarantee you, we are seeing a major reduction. One homicide is too much. Can I just say it? Like, it's just too many. That's too many for me. I just want everyone in the room. We had a double homicide last year. It affected me pretty bad, right? I figure like after 32 years of doing this, I should be tough by now, but I'm not. I'm not at all. We work homicides, we work them, and for the last couple of years I've been here, and the state's attorney's here, we've been going back and we've been solving cold cases. And we've been finding there was a lot of homicides that's unsolved, and we've been putting a lot of energy, getting new eyes on the cases, working with the state's attorney, and we have been bringing justice to the people that cannot speak for themselves, but most importantly to the family members that wanted to see justice.
You think it will get better?
So I'm a very happy-go-lucky person. Everything gets better with me. It's going to get better. All right. It's going to get better. It is.
Can I add anything a little? So I appreciate all the good work that Chief Tyler has done since he's been here, all the good work that his department and his officers do, all the good work that all of the officers across Champaign County do. We just had a very important guilty verdict last night in a homicide, or an attempted homicide, involving a young man who has been involved in a lot of gun violence in this community for many years. And part of the reason why we were able to get that guilty verdict was because of improvements in technology and the availability of video surveillance, because a big problem when it comes to solving homicides and prosecuting homicides and holding those offenders accountable is that people don't want to get involved. And that is absolutely understandable because they are scared. They are worried for their own safety, for the safety of their families. They do not want to put themselves in the line, literally, of fire, and I get that. And so the way we solve these crimes is involvement and engagement and community, which is what we're talking about here, but also being concerned about our own safety and the safety of others, just like Bishop said. And so the way that we in law enforcement can better solve these crimes is through that technology and that availability, because that's also what juries want. You know, we are a visual community. People want to see the thing themselves. They want to see that there is a backup before they hold somebody accountable, before they find somebody guilty. They want to be sure that they are doing the right thing, and that's our criminal justice system, and it's absolutely appropriate. So with improvements, we've been able to do better work, but it's all and. It's not one or the other, you know, and this community piece, what you're doing here tonight, is so very important to get to know each other and to spread that message that this community is involved and concerned and wants this to be a safe place for you all to live.
Are you establishing a community watch?
Well, that's, I think, was talked about a little bit earlier, and Councilmember Williams was, and the Blueprint group, that's something I think you can talk with Jorge about, being involved in those community watch groups, getting to know who the kids are. You know, if they know you and you call out the window, hey, what are you doing here? You know, they're gonna go home, right? They're at home, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's my question.
Yeah, thank you.
Are there any more questions? Any more? Yes.
Okay, I just want to address something. I don't want to be an one well, I really want to get your questions in. Mr. Timothy Tyler, my son, my friend, my confidant, my prayer warrior, can you please stand up for me, sir? So this here person is a unique kind of person. I don't deal with police, I don't deal with nothing like that. But I have for the last 4 years been really getting involved and trying to learn and become friends, you know, because something is wrong with our community. The respect has gone out the window, you know. And I know some of us still respect, but I would like for everyone, you go tell people, there's a chief in this city, in Champaign County, that risked his life and came here and really went out to door, community, stopped and listened to you and understood where he was coming from. Didn't come in and say, I'm taking over your city. I'm taking everything you got. I run this. I'm the boss. He's the humblest guy. All of my children at the youth center, they want to be a police officer just because of this man. This man came out and talked to us. He came out and gave a speech. He came out, we asked him to come. He could have said no. He came to our beat the street, not one time, but two. Next time he walked the murder with him, so we all could get acquainted. And it was every nationality. He didn't treat none of us different. Please, let's help him. Because we're not going to get this opportunity again. When an opportunity presents itself like this, and you could call him up and say, hey, can you give me something? Or I'm having a problem, and he can announce it or take his time because he don't have to. He has old ladies get to where they're going. That's crazy. God bless you.
Look at your phone.
Good evening, everyone. I don't even know if I need to. So, little, what they call evening reflection. Number one, thank you all for for hosting this council member, pastors. I believe that this is critical and important, and we live in a time where we're in an information system, and somehow information is passed around as you would think that it would be passed around. So this is important because it helps us all bring together not only the community, but the community information. Couple notes. Number one, let's spread the good news. You gotta make sure we gotta do it. They gotta do it. Because I don't necessarily know if we spread good news. Like I know we spread challenges. I know when things happen bad, we will talk about bad stuff. Absolutely. But it's important because good news do something to you. Yeah. It does. You say, hey, things feeling better. You gotta spread good news. Now, that doesn't mean that in spreading good news, you don't talk about challenges. It doesn't mean that you don't talk about challenges. It doesn't mean you don't talk about problems. But it's important for us to talk about good news. Number two, involvement. This is a step in involvement. I believe that if there's a church, there's a school, there are plenty of things. Everyone is looking for a volunteer. Everybody, if you out in the room for pastors and if you have a volunteer, I'll bet you they come in. You be in the competitive space, so volunteerism has to be on the high. We have to increase that. The third thing that I thought about was all of the access to the neighborhood programs that we have, and I'm glad that you brought them up. Where we talked about improving the house, neighborhood associations, and empowerment associations. But complaint in this sense. Now, I'll just open up and say talk about good news, but now I'm saying complaint. Number one, there are complaint processes. Did you know I was asked District 1 as a whole, complains the least formally. The least formally, what that means is that we talk amongst each other, but you have, in order to get, like say for instance, you see a pothole. That pothole goes on there is an app that you can, I gotta get that app, there's an app, there is a, on the website you can complain, or form a complaint. There is a pothole on the middle of this street, and neighborhood services will come, public works will come and fill that pothole. Tenants. Now, I know it's such a situation that you can complain on your neighbor, I get it. But there's a process that if there is, let's say everybody, just go on a touchy subject. Let's say everybody in the neighborhood cut their grass and somebody the grass is like 17 inches. There's a process that you can say, hey, can you go check that out? And I believe it's anonymous. There's nobody gonna knock on the door and say, Mr. Kyle told you, stitch on you and said, hey, you cut your grass. So I think those are important.
You get into it here.
You said, all right, I get into it. But there are some processes, and I want us to do that, all right?
Real quick, for Deputy Mayor or Councilman or Brother Jorge, that app you're talking about, how do we find it, and to be able to give to the people that are watching online that ability to do that? Two, I appreciate you bringing that information because many times we see things and we do talk about it, right? And if I find something, I call to one of you brothers because I know that you're representing us in this district. So it would be good to know that we have the ability to make a statement about something and things get changed or things get done. So I appreciate you bringing that to our attention. Yes.
I'll let him finish.
Yeah, I can build it on me.
I thought he was getting ready to add something to that.
I'll add to it.
Okay.
For streetlights, you can call anyone directly, there's actually a division there that will take that information, and I think it was, unless 3 or less turnaround, they will be out there and replace that streetlight.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. See, this is valuable information that we need to know, especially for our seniors or people who may be concerned. And I say seniors because most of the young people may not be as concerned as a light going out or a pothole. They just mad, they cuss at it, and keep going. But these are things that we need to know, like what is the process of how to get this stuff done. Apostle Smith, you had something you wanted to add? Can somebody pass the mic? Or
Yeah. Thank you all for sharing and putting out information, and really need this.
But we have a after school program over at Oakwood Terrace, and we're just elated about it. The children that we have in the school and so forth, and we found out, well, we had a van, and the van went out. You know how that goes when you don't have the funds to purchase another van. And that's where we are, because we need to help our kids get there. We found out that when the weather gets bad, just the process goes down, and we can't do what we want to do and what we can do. And I've heard different ones talk about funding. And that's where we are. And if you know a magic button to push on, or you know where we could get a van, someone wants to give us or loan us or buy us a van, we'll be so blessed to have that. I'm the pastor of Center of Hope Church, and we're doing a tremendous job over there. And I'm just asking God to help us and speak to somebody's heart to help us secure that van so we can pick up our kids that cannot get there and drop them off safely. And that's where we're at right now.
ClickFix is the app, right? ClickFix. ClickFix is the app. Yes.
All right, you want me to come to church Sunday? Hating on me because I'm a Delta. Okay, we keep talking about about these kids. School board. There's an election coming up. It's crucial. I go to school board meetings. I have sat there and listened to people talk about how dangerous this neighborhood is. And I'm like, in my Scooby-Doo voice, because, heck, I can throw a rock from my house and break a window here. I live around the corner. I've never been afraid to be up here. I got a dog in this fight. I got a great nephew who's in grammar school. None of these kids are mine, but they're all mine. So get involved in the school board. It's crucial. Years ago, my nephew was struggling at Central High School. He was told he could drop out. They told my boy he could be less than. It was okay to not amount to anything. So you got somebody in there who's fighting for our kids. And we all know if we crack open a newspaper or read a feed on our phones, MAGA is trying to get a hold of our school boards. I mean, it's ridiculous when one person can cry, that book offends me, and it gets banned. Now, that's not happening here. But if we're not careful, that's where we'll be. So please, if you're serious about these kids, research who's running for that school board. Research, and get involved. Closed mouth don't get fed.
Thank you. And one more, and then we're going to close out.
Yeah, coming back to this neighborhood watch. When I was in California, everywhere I went, they had a poster of this neighborhood. They had a poster of a camera and something written about the neighborhood. They said, if you do this, we'll prosecute you. A It's all over the neighborhood. So in fact, if you have to do anything that's bad, you'll be scared. You'll be scared because when you see those yeah, when you see them, you move away. You move away. So when I came here, I didn't see anything of that. Nothing. You see? I believe if we can do that, like I said, putting a poster and then writing something about say, if you do this, you'll be prosecuted. I'm sure the crime rate will go down. It will go very down. I just want to make that clear.
Thank you for that. Thank you. I believe as it relates to a neighborhood watch, those groups have to be set up so those signs can be put out. So once you have a neighborhood watch, you can definitely put out a sign that says, hey, what X, Y, and Z, what this is. Thank you all for coming out. I really appreciate it. Give yourselves a hand, please. Give yourselves a hand. This is what it's about. We're supposed to come together, talk, and dialogue, and figure things out and create agendas as it relates to our community. I wanted to make sure that I am due diligent as it relates to focusing on District 1 and the things that District 1 needs and what we want and how we can make our community, this district, a better district. No, not in competition to anybody else, but just make sure we all feel safe and make sure we're within this space. I just want there was something else that as it relates to the kids, we have to continue this. So as it relates to this, I've been thinking about doing this maybe once a month or quarterly. It was suggested to me to do once a month, just make sure we keep it consistent. But with that though, I need you all to spread the word, get people out here so we can all have a bigger dialogue, conversation, talk about resources that we have with the county, with the city of Champaign, and all of what we have in this community so we can all know and be aware of all of these things. Before we leave though, I do want to have a moment of silence for all the tragedy that has happened this past week, especially with that 7-year-old DJ. That's heart-wrenching. So, moment of silence, please. Thank you. We're going to have light refreshments in the back. If you want to come back and talk, have a conversation, just chop it up. Yes.
I have one question just for anyone from city. Is there someone that helps residents or businesses to fill out the application of the grants that are said that there are? Like, I know everyone, should have some sort of a level of competency, but just from my own testimony, I applied for several business grants in the past. I've had a business in the, since 2019, a brick and mortar business since 2019. I've been a business owner since 2010. My mother's been a business owner. I think she was the first black woman to have a business downtown Champaign. Shout out to you, moms. Love you. We were not able to get any of those business grants because something in the application that I did caused us not to be able to get it, and it was just because of my own ignorance to some of the terms that was going on. So is there somebody in the office that would help us to fill out these applications that the city has in terms of grants, the county has in terms of funding and things like that? And this is just for everybody. I know I'm talking about my own testimony, but I want to ask that question just if anybody can answer it, because I think that will help some of the seniors who may fear that they may not meet the requirements or the qualifications. Some young business owners like myself, I'm young, yes. who may not be able to get those. Could anybody help us with that before we go?
So, I can't speak from everybody in the city and government. I can only speak from, the community safety and justice. Whenever I put out a request for proposal, I also put in that information that comes to a mandatory meeting for the training process. And we help them through that process with our grant, to help them fill it out. And we tell them what are the necessary components, what's going to get their, grant to the next level. We can't guarantee that everybody's going to get approved, but at least the filling out piece of that we do whenever we put out a request for proposal. So I don't know what other departments do or other entities within other government systems, but that's what we do in that community engagement department.
So, I mean, this isn't with the city, but we have like a world-renowned university that has a very well-regarded business school. I mean, maybe this is an opportunity for the city to work with the business college. There's probably undergrad and graduate students who, to move up their resume, would love to help out. Help somebody, help an organization, nonprofit or a small businessman, help them fill out these forms or even write grants or whatever. I've lived here since 1981. I do not see enough interaction between the city and the university. And that's a resource that anybody can tap. You can look up the College of Business, you can make a few phone calls, find out, do you guys have a program? I'm not sure if they do or they don't, but at least you could see. I did that. I had a nonprofit years ago, and we needed a graphic designer. And so I reached out. I know the graphic design professor at Parkland. I reached out to him. He set me up with 5 different graphic design students. I got to interview them. I got to pick one. I had all this work for free because they needed experience for the resume. And so we got Parkland too, and we got UI.
So I think that's great information because I'm going to put my lawyer hat on and say that oftentimes when there are grants and funding opportunities, the funder legally can't help one person fill out the forms because that could sway that funding opportunity towards that person over somebody else who didn't have that help. So I think that suggestion is fantastic, and also that could be a community project, where maybe you can find somebody who can run like a little seminar on how to fill out paperwork or something like that, and bring people together to help, because I don't know that the city, or I would say as a lawyer for the county, we can't help individuals fill out the paperwork because that could end up swaying the decision making.
I do know that I'm in the chemistry department, so I do know in the public health. So I do know at least in that arena, that university for public health, they have grants that if people in the community wanted to do something with public health in the university, there's money for that. There might be money in the business school or the law school at U of I to have a community university project where the student or the professor actually gets funding and help you out too. Like I said, I've been here since 1981. There's not enough interaction between the university and the community. And it is the fault of both sides. There's not enough interaction, and I know that there are programs at the university that can help out. You just have to make a phone call and ask around. It takes some legwork. Yeah. Or this that can be a project this group too. Yeah. If you know.
And then for clarity, I want to touch on the point of the funder. That's why I'm making it a mandatory meeting for everyone that's applying has to come, so that we're providing that information to everybody equitably and not picking and choosing who we're helping.
Yes.
At the time, you live at the grant writer. I don't think anybody can help out this so much. But RBC has a lot of people who do grants on both sides. Maybe a little bit of knowledge takers. So maybe, I don't know what they'll be able to help out, but I know they're a great resource for that. So there's no grant writer at the conference.
economics. One of the things our community could, we need more economics. Shameless plug for Wall Street Jewelers, if that has not already been brought up. There's a free stock class that will teach individuals how to trade. You know you do not need money. You need money to make real money, but you don't need money to learn how to trade stocks. That's a whole other conversation I know we'll talk about. I didn't talk about economics, but I think it's huge for them to let brought it up faster, because that's something, we said, us always said, put down guns and do what? Put down negativity and do what? There are generations within our community that have struggled with economics. And so the class is free. Saturday, as far as I know, or Monday, and there's several classes that your experience could be zero. If you put the work in, I think you require yourself like in the class. But I think that's something to really talk about.
So thank you. These are all great ideas. I have them all recorded somewhere, so we're going to, what's going to happen next time we have this meeting, we're going to get more people involved, more information, get us all connected to all this time resources, kind of create a web so we can all have a space where we can this one of these. We know in one space we can get all this information. All right, thank you so much. Once again, thank you so much for coming. Did anyone have any announcements? Any announcements that as relates to any events that's going on, the organizations?
Well, one of the things we must remember that we are celebrating month February, Black History Month.
Absolutely.
I remember, was it the first following the 10th anniversary, what, the second Saturday in March or something like that? Right there. Yep.
All right, we have one more announcement by Pastor Ray. He's going to pray us out. Once again, thank you all for coming.
I just wanted to say thank you for everyone coming out. If you didn't know, I am now the new president of the MLK Advocacy for Justice Committee. We do have the new president of the Minister Alliance, Pastor Herbert Burnett, back here. And what we're doing is shaking things up. So the pastors that are here, those community members that want to get involved in helping our youth, I want you to get with us so that we might be able to work together as a community, right? And give 10 scholarships, we used to give 20 scholarships, now we're giving 10 because funds are dwindling. So we want everyone to work together so that we might be able to help our youth, right? And those that are still trying to get to where they want to be, right? We want to help those, and then we want to help those that lost their way. So I wanted to make sure that you understood who we are, see our faces. I really appreciate Councilman Williams for agreeing to do this, to show up, to show you who he is, right? Show you where his heart really is. If you are with trying to do things in your community, we're having these monthly meetings for as long as we can. And whatever establishment we have, whether it be this church, another church, community center, public library, but you need to get involved. These community members, city officials, city workers are all wanting to be involved with us, right? So let's do this together as D1. And lastly, yes, bring young people. That's what I wanted to point out. I'm looking around and I see a lot of more seasoned folks, and we're still young, right? But we want to get the young people involved, right? Because they're the ones that's going to be carrying the torch. We got to get them involved now before we get to the next 5-10 years up, and we're all sitting here trying to figure out where did we go wrong, right? And so that's why I wanted to make sure we point that out, all right? And also, if you ever need any shameless plug, computers, anything fixed, Take Care Solutions, not only come downtown Champaign, across the river, post office, all right? Oh, last announcement from me, First String Baseball is starting. Sign up is, I think it started today, and it's going through February 28th. And it's going to be right over here at Douglas, and you can call to the park district to get these young people involved. If you don't have any kids, go ahead and sponsor a kid, right? Help them to play baseball. My kids did it for the first time last year, and they're just like ecstatic with the coaches back there. Coach Ashley, she did an amazing job with the kids. They loved it, and we continue to do these things. So go ahead and make sure you sign up. You have anything else?
I think Legion is going to do a fundraiser for that. I went to a fundraiser last weekend this month.
So let's get involved, put money in, but I wanted to make sure that we're together on this. So I want to pray us out and give us a benediction quickly. What's up?
Yes, on the 18th of this month, Denise Mitchell and I, we're gonna get a community gathering together at her center over there in Urbana, Neighborhood Connection Center. If you guys can make it at 6 o'clock on the 18th, we'd love to see all of you there. We're just coming up with some solutions and talk about it and do it, okay? Just because in Urbana, this situation happened with the young man, the little boy, and it's a shame. So what we're gonna do is try to come together and build something where the parents will feel free and know that someone is there. So hopefully when you come, be ready to serve, be ready to talk to a parent and let them know you're accepted, we'll accept you where you're at, see what they need, and maybe we can, just start there, I don't know.
Amen.
Amen.
Well, we appreciate that. Last thing, for real, this time. February 28th, we're doing another hunger feed over here at the Stride Center and throughout Champaign. We did it in December, and it went amazing. We fed over 70 people with meals from Badarata. This time we have catering from I'm sorry, it slipped my mind, his catering service, but he's catering for us barbecue, and Angel Johnson is going to help us to get the fried rice trays, and we're going to be feeding these families. If you want to help donate, we're trying to do this on a monthly. Gene's Barbecue. So we're trying to do this monthly just to show them that we love them, and this is not a political thing. This is just family feeding family, right? So with that being said, I'd like for everyone to please stand. Father, we thank you for allowing us to be here yet another day. God, we thank you for allowing us to talk in peace and in harmony with good suggestions. Lord God, we ask you that all of these suggestions, Lord God, does not fall on deaf ears. And Lord God, help us to continue to organize, mobilize, Lord God, and move forward as a district, as a city, as a county, as a community. In Jesus' name we pray. And this is the victory that overcometh the world. Look at somebody and say, even yours, even mine, even ours. Faith, faith, faith in God. In Jesus' name. You guys go in peace. We thank you for coming out. I really appreciate all of you. We have refreshments in the back. Go and grab as much of it as you want. Take some home, please. It's right there in the back. And let's talk and fellowship together.